Hi, my name is Maria Forrest, and this is Lily, and we're going to do another reformer class for you. So just go ahead, and we're going to set up with the jump board today, and we're going to just put a red and a blue, depending on what equipment you have. Just make sure you have 2 springs. You don't want to create too much impact when you're jumping. We're going to warm up first before we do it, but just remember when you're doing jumping, you don't want to put too much. It's all about really just lengthening when you're jumping, nice long length. You don't want to crash right into the mat. So we're going to go ahead and lay on our backs with our head through the shoulder rest and the feet on the jump board. So we're just going to warm up a little bit with a little bit of pelvic bowl. So reach out through the fingertips, press the shoulders into the mat, press the ribs and the tailbone nice and flat. You're going to take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to curl the tailbone under and press the belly button towards your spine on the exhale. Inhale as you bring the tailbone down towards the mat, and then exhale as you curl the tailbone under. So you can do this exercise 2 different ways. You can use your glutes, your tush muscles to curl under. But in Pilates, we use our abs. So focus on inhaling when the tailbone goes down towards the mat. Feel that lower back, little arch, and then exhale as you curl using your abs. And if you push out all the air, you're going to feel that engagement in your deep pelvic floor muscles. So inhale, tailbone down, exhale, curl under. Last 2. And then last 1. Inhale, tailbone down, and exhale, curl it under. So we're going to start with heels on the corners. So now that we've loosened up the pelvis a little bit, let's make sure that we press the tailbone down. Again, lengthen through the finger, you're reaching through the fingertips, pressing the back of the arms and the ribs, back of the ribs into the mat. Take a deep breath, and then exhale as you push the carriage all the way back. So there's not that much resistance, it's just a warm up. So inhale, and then exhale. So notice whether or not your ribs are nice and flat, or whether your ribs are out like so. You want to make sure the ribs are in. You also want to make sure that your shoulders are pressed down into the mat, that your shoulders aren't rounded forward. If you can't do it on the first go, it's okay. That's your goal eventually, is to keep ribs in and the shoulders down, teaching the body new patterns with your movements. So let's do 4 more. And now we're going to put the toes on here, so you can bring the carriage all the way back. We're going to go ahead and put the toes a little bit lower, so not on the edge on the top in the center, but a little bit lower, like maybe 2 or 3 fingers away from the top. So you're going to go ahead and lengthen all the way back. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do running in place here. So again, keep the ribs in, tailbone down, shoulders pressed against the mat. And take deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. Last 3, 2, and 1. And bend the knees, bring the carriage in. All right, so we're going to start with the jumping. So the key for jumping is really, when you're jumping, you want to lengthen out through the legs. Really length, all the way from the hip. So your legs are active, nice and strong, and you're lengthening, activating the leg, keeping your pelvis in neutral. Make sure that you don't arch the back when you push off. All right, so let's begin. So let's put your feet in the center, parallel to each other. Toes could be touching. Reach through the fingertips, press the back of the arms. Make sure the tailbone is down. Take a deep breath. And exhale as you lengthen all the way back. Exhale as you push. Inhale as you come in. So lengthen a little bit more. Jump a little higher. Good. A little bit more. So you're lengthening, pointing. Last 5. And bring the carriage in. Catch your breath. Nice. So let's focus on our breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And now we're going to do the skier, but we're going to focus on one side. And so we're going to put all the toes facing the right corner of the board. Hands alongside, reaching through the fingertips. Let's press the shoulders into the mat. Again, your tailbone is down, tummy in. Take a deep breath in. Exhale as you lengthen all the way out. 1. Go a little bit higher. 2, 3, 4. 2 more. All right, and rest, catch your breath. Let's go ahead and go to the left corner. Let's take 2 deep breaths before you begin. Compose yourself so you can work on putting in the best form you can. So the best form is neutral hips, reaching out, lengthening through the spine, through the arms, and through the legs, keeping your abs nice and engaged. Ready? Take a deep breath in, and exhale as you jump. So lengthen all the way through the hips. Lengthen. Good. Last 2. And rest. Catch your breath. Let's bring the feet to the center. Again, catching your breath. All right, so let's adjust the body. Make sure your shoulders are nice and firm against the mat and the ribs. So now we're going to alternate. We're going to bring to the right, and we're going to catch ourselves on the left. So let's start with the feet on the right corner. Again, reach through the fingertips, tummy in. So when you're doing your sets, you can do anywhere from sets from 8, 10, 12, 15. It's up to you. Start off with the lower sets and work your way up. Because by the time we finish our last set, you're going to feel this. So don't go straight to 15 if it's your first time doing it. All right, so slide the shoulder blades down. Ready? Deep breath. And exhale as you lengthen. Catch yourself on the left. Focus on your core. Notice whether or not you're lifting the hips. Try to stabilize the hips. Just the legs are moving. Good. Last 3. Last 2 full sets. Last 1. And bring the carriage in, catch your breath. Let's just focus on our breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. All right, we have 2 more, last 2. So we're going to do scissors in the air. So we're going to go ahead and bring the right leg up to 90. Bottom leg is going to push off, and you're going to catch yourself with the right leg. So make sure your tailbone is pressed down. Because if your hamstrings are tight, your tailbone is going to want to curl under. So reach out through the fingers. Back of the arms are pressed into the mat, shoulders and ribs and tailbone. Take a deep breath. Ready? Exhale as you lengthen. Catch yourself with the right leg. Lengthen. Activate. Make sure that bottom leg is nice and straight. Top leg is nice and straight, reaching up towards the ceiling. Good. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Catch your breath. Nice job. Let's take at least 2 or 3 deep breaths here. You can put your base of your feet together, open up the legs, give yourself a nice stretch. Or put the feet together, bring the knees to the right. Excuse me. And inhale center, and both to the left. All right, last one. So the last one's going to be probably the most challenging because you're only going to use one leg with the same amount of resistance. So let's so hang in there. Right leg straight up. Do anywhere from 10, 12, maybe even 8 if it seems too much. It's all about form, quality, not quantity. So make sure you're in your best form. So reach out through the right leg. Take a deep breath. Exhale, lengthen through the bottom. Two more. And bend the knees, catch your breath. Switch legs. Point that left leg, point the toes on the left leg. Make sure that hip is pressed down. Ready? Deep breath. Exhale, lengthen. Last two. And catch your breath. All right, so leaving the same amount of resistance, we'll go into working a little bit more legs. Normally, we would do a little bit less. It's up to you if you want to work more legs or if you want to work more core. If you want to work more core, you want to do less resistance when you do the leg series with your straps. So we're going to go ahead and put the strap on the right foot. Keep that knee in as you put on the other strap and lengthen all the way out. So reaching out through the fingertips, you're going to exhale down and then inhale up. So for these exercises, it's just like the others. You want to maintain neutral hips. So you want to make sure the tailbone stays nice and firm, especially when the legs go up. And you want to make sure your back has a little natural curve and no more than that when the legs go down. So you don't want to arch when your legs go down. You don't want to lift your tailbone when the legs come up. Reaching out through the fingertips, inhale, and then exhale down. So you're reaching out through the legs, squeezing the inner thighs, focusing on pushing and pulling with your abs. Make sure you're feeling that connection in your core. If you have a lot of resistance, you're going to feel it more in the legs. If you put less resistance, it's going to be more core. Last two. And then we're going to bring the knees to the chest and catch your breath. All right, so let's go ahead. Now that you know your range, you don't go too high where you lift your tailbone. You don't go too low where you arch your back more than your natural curve. Let's go ahead and extend the legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to do big capital D's back to back. So just classical circles. You're going to go down and then out and around. So you don't want to go wider than the table. Same thing. If the circle's wide, it's just more legs. And if the circle's smaller, it's more core. So just figure out what you want, what your goal is. We're going to stick to just the classical big capital D's so we can both work both the abs and the legs. So you're going to inhale as you pull, as they come out towards you. Exhale as you push the legs away. Inhale and exhale. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. So while you're doing this, you're activating the legs, reaching out through the legs. You're still imprinting the back of the body towards the mat, the back of the head, the back of the arms, the shoulders, and the tailbone, and the ribs. And now we're going to switch directions. So it's inhale up, and exhale as you push. Last one. And let's bring the knees to the chest and catch your breath. All right, so let's go ahead and do the frog. So we're going to put the feet parallel. Actually, the knees are probably hip width, your heels are together and your toes are in a V. So not a big exaggerated V, a small V where maybe your fist fits right in between the big toes. So you're going to start tabletop. Tabletop is when the knees are above the hips and the heels are in line with your knees. So you're going to pull the tummy in, make sure your tailbone is pressed into the mat. It's very common for people who do Pilates to curl under. If you do that, you're just going to shorten the front of the hips. You want nice, long, lean muscles. So press that tailbone down, take a deep breath. Ready, exhale as you lengthen those legs out. Reach, 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 and inhale as you come in. Exhale as you push out. So if you sit a lot, if you work in an office and your hip flexors are tight, then maybe you want to bring the legs all the way in, all the way in, all the way out. That'll help to release any tension you might have in the hips. Okay? If you want to strengthen the hips, then you want to go from tabletop, which is the knees right above the hips, and away. You will feel the difference. You got to stabilize the hips, so make sure your tailbone stays nice and flat. So it's nice and flat in the front of the pelvis. Last 4, 3, pull the ribs in a little bit, 2, and last 1, lengthen, 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 squeeze, and bring the knees in and give them a hug. Just rock the hips side to side. Give yourself a little massage in the lower back. All right, so we're going to do short spine. So you're going to go ahead and make sure that your headrest is nice and flat. Hands alongside. We're going to bring the legs up to 90 degrees. So slide the shoulder blades down the back. So make sure that your tailbone is on the mat, and you're going to hinge at the hip until you can't hinge anymore, and then you're going to lift the legs up. So let's go ahead and bring the legs to 90 and then hinge as far as you can, bringing the legs towards the tower behind you, if you have a tower. And then you're going to go ahead, when you can't go any further, then you're going to lift the tush up and bring the feet up towards the tower, all the way up till you hit the edge, the end of the carriage. And then you're going to bring the knees to the ears. And then without moving the heels, you're going to slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. So do not move the heels. Keep them nice and still. When you get stuck and you can't go any further, then move the heels just a little bit. Hold the heels still, then roll it down a little bit more so that your back does all the work. Bring the heels a little bit more, hold them there, and then bring that tailbone down without moving the heels. Till you can't go anymore, then give it a little slack. But you got to hold it. Roll down, let your back do all the work, not your legs. This gives you a nice stretch on the lower back. When you can't go any further, remember, give some slack with the heels. You could just push a little bit, then stop, and make your back do the movement of pressing down. Then when you can't go any further, let's bring the heels down towards the tush, all the way down, so your tailbone touches the mat. Then you're going to extend the legs out to 45 degrees. Again, let's find our posture. Reach out through the fingertips. Back of the arms into the mat, tailbone, and reach out through the crown. They're going to go to 90 degrees with the legs. Take a deep breath. When you can't go any further, you can't go past 90, go ahead and lift the hips up. Bring the feet all the way up to the tower till you hit the end of the carriage, and then bring the knees to the ears. Take a deep breath. You can open the knees a little bit, and then slowly roll it down without moving the heels. So there's 2 ways you can do this exercise. You can move the heels with the legs, you can work a little bit more legs. For today, we're going to just work on the spine stretching. So let's go ahead and bring the heels just a little bit, just to give you a little bit more way so that you can articulate the spine. So push a little bit with the heels, then the back, until you can't go anymore. The heels, then the back, till you can't go anymore. All the way down till the tailbone touches the mat. Then you're going to bring the heels towards the tush. Ready, deep breath. All the way down to the tailbone. And then exhale, lengthen out. 1 more, ready? So reach out to the fingertips. Find your posture first. Imprint everything. Ready, deep breath. And you're going to hinge until you can't hinge anymore. Then lift the hips all the way up. Make sure you're always looking straight up towards the ceiling. Don't turn to the side when you're doing this exercise. Don't turn your head, to the side. You don't want to hurt your neck. So you're going to slowly roll it down, 1 vertebrae at a time. You're still pressing the arms, pressing the shoulders into the mat. slowly articulating the spine. You're going to notice it's probably a little looser now. You probably won't need to move the heels as much until you get to that spot where you can't anymore. Then press the heels a little bit. Slowly roll it down. And a little bit more. So you get all the way down to the tailbone. And then you're going to get to the point where you're going to have to bring your heels towards the tush to bring that tailbone all the way down. All right, so last one we're going to do is we're going to do the Russian dance. Some people call it the Peter Pan or the bow and arrow. So you're going to bring the legs out straight ahead. Again, slide the shoulder blades down, press the back of the arms, relax the neck. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, you're going to bend the right knee and extend the left leg out to the side. Good. Hold it here. Feel the stretch in the inner thighs. Take a deep breath. And then exhale, lengthen. So the key for this exercise, as well as the others, is to stabilize the hips. So notice, ready, exhale, switch sides. Notice whether the hips are moving with the legs. Stabilize those hips. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Go to 45 degrees. Squeeze the inner thighs. Lengthen the legs. Then switch the legs. Feel the stretch on both legs. So notice that the straps will move together, and there's always tension on both straps. So usually the straight leg is the one that's keeping the resistance. Ready? Deep breath. Exhale. And last one on both sides. Deep breath. And exhale. Meet at the center. And last one on this side.